You're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at TheSlowRidePod. Enjoy the ride.
Hello and welcome to the 246th episode of the Slow Ride Podcast. This is Tim in Orlando.
And this is Spencer in Boston.
Now, Spencer, we're in the midst of Sea Otter, and the cycling world has descended on Monterey, California. So we're on the ground reporting. So we thought it would be a great time to do a mailbag because we have a slew of listener emails that kind of sometimes just fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And there's some real gems in here.
Oh, yeah. The Slow Ride Podcast at gmail.com inbox has been exploding over the last few weeks, and we have been a little bit behind the eight ball catching up on these. So it's a good time to do it.
Yeah, it's a good time. But then also, who knew that pizza would really get the emails flowing? So
there are some strong pizza opinions.
There are some strong pizza opinions, but then also some gems that were dropped by guest host Abby, who came through and just dropped. She kind of dropped a bomb at the end of the episode. Listen to the post credits.
We put that nugget in there, like your favorite '90s CD. After a couple minutes of silence, there was a secret track there at the end that caught some people off guard.
So Scott Emmons, first one to hit us up, said, "Hey, say thanks for this week's episode. Excellent pizza ratings podcast. You three had me laughing my ass off out loud at the gym, causing looks from the other people that were working out. The episode was too funny. Also, more Abby, a fan for life after this episode." And I will say, Scott, totally agree.
Yeah.
But I'm all in on working out at the gym and listening to music, and also kind of laughing. When I used to work in an office, I would listen to podcasts and then I would start laughing and people would look at me.
Yes.
And I think my favorite time this ever happened to me was when I used to be a teacher here in Florida. And I know Spencer, you've seen the tweets that I used to send out of when the kids were taking their standardized tests every May.
Oh yeah. Which
also was during the Giro. And so the kids had to be quiet for like this whole week of standardized testing here. And they had to like be real quiet. Like there's all these rules.
Yeah.
And of course I was breaking one of the main rules because I was watching the Giro the whole time they were taking the test.
Right.
And the year Nairo won, I'm pretty sure Nairo was winning, or maybe he got second later. I got to remember. I got to look back. But I remember being very, very excited in the stages.
Right.
They were looking at me. They knew I was watching something, and then they didn't know what. And I was very, very excited during the mountain stages.
Right. Trying to contain that and maintain your professional, face. While Nairo is drilling it up the mountains.
Yeah. And what's amazing is I did not win Teacher of the Year that year. Or any year.
Well,
all right, we got a killer email here.
I just want to follow up quick on Scott's email and say there's definitely gonna be more Abby going forward. You guys can look forward to that. So quick nugget there.
No, very excited about that. And then Jeff Anderson hits us up, and this is a lengthy one, but man, was it angry.
I'm ready.
Holy shit. I'm halfway through the podcast and I can't take it. You guys have no understanding of food ingredients and flavors.
Oof.
Please, I extend the following offer. Come to my house. I will make you a pizza using the toppings that you have disparaged and show you how each of those items can taste really good. Examples. Mushrooms.
Now,
hopefully you're not talking about canned shrooms, because roasted mushrooms on a pizza are delicious. And top that with some goat cheese, and you've got yourself a fantastic pie. Buffalo chicken? 100% wrong. Buffalo only belongs on chicken wings, And hopefully you don't choke on the bones, but definitely not on pale, dry chicken breast. Waxy banana peppers suck. Nothing is really that color. They taste just like vinegar. And now that you're talking about tomato sauce not contributing to the pizza, you're eating the wrong kind of pizza with the wrong kind of tomato sauce. Haven't you ever heard of marinara pizza? It's a classic.
I feel like Jeff is listening to the episode and like making these notes as the episode goes along. This is amazing.
Arugula, you all just surprised me. Maybe I do need to give a little more credit, but probably not. Abby is saving you guys because at least she has some good taste in food, i.e. prosciutto. Last, the demo is more important part of the pizza, of the whole pizza. Everything else is just the way to showcase the bread. So in closing, the table is set for you to come by anytime you want, and I would be happy to make you a pizza. Keep up the content as long as it stays with bicycles and stay away from food. Love your podcast. All right.
Well,
now we are recording this before Paris-Roubaix.
Yeah.
But Flanders did just happen. And one of the kits, the Bigla kit, I thought looked really awesome when Cecile Ludwig Utrip was in the was in the break.
Yep.
A little pesto color. I thought we looked pretty good there because you and I both kind of nailed that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She gave a little pesto to her post race interview too. If you haven't seen that, yeah. Very good, Jeff. We might take you up on this, so I hope you're not, just telling us stories here in the email, thinking you could be a keyboard warrior behind your screen. Because if we show up at your door, I'm expecting some good za.
Now, Jeff also did email us about the USA Cycling upgrades solution that you and I came up with.
Yeah,
and it was pretty funny because he's like, the USA Cycling. Your position of the USA Cycling upgrade and its system for getting one through. It seems like there may be a more effective approach than your crowdsourcing ideas referenced by Joe Dombrowski in Mitch Docker's Life in the Peloton.
Mm-hmm.
And as Joe stated, and he's paraphrasing, I bugged the right people. It's all it took to jump to the front of the line and get a Cat 1 Pro license, which I think is totally true. Right?
Totally
if you
true.
know the right people, then you get it done. But the question is, what if that right person is not into it?
It's true.
Right.
So, I mean, I got my Cat 2 on the road, and I certainly maybe earned it. I was pretty, I was a good Cat 3. I didn't necessarily have the points, but I did know the right person. Got my Cat 2. Not going to let it go. Not doing the work anymore. Definitely not racing like I used to. But yeah, absolutely. Like I did not have the problems that some parts of the country experience. New York area, New England area. I'm sure some other hotbeds of cycling around the country. Look at the rules much more black and white. And big swaths of the country. Look at that rule book. Much more gray, So, yeah, it really depends on where you are, and that's
it's such a broken system, though.
It is.
It's the fact that you need to know the right people, which is he makes a good point. That's how we both upgraded, right?
Yeah,
because we knew like the emails to send and who to hang out with and say like, hey, hey guy too, and it totally worked. But
I mean, basically, the moral of the story is be friends with the officials at your races in your local area, because if they know you. They respond to your email. They'll look at it with a closer eye, and be like, you know what? Okay.
So I think Jeff's on point, but I appreciate the email. Know who to talk to, but let's fix the bigger question. Yep. Sam Allison writes, regarding your admon.
Yeah. Get it?
Yeah.
Get it one more. One more.
Stroke. Yeah. Regarding your admonitions, whatever. You're going to have to edit this post. Okay, so regarding your, waving at your fellow cyclists.
Your call to wave.
Yeah, your call to wave.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment, but I find it impractical to implement. Riding as I do in the Chitleham Hills north of London, the roads and lanes are veritably awash with cyclists. To wave at all of them would result in an overdeveloped right arm, much like a young Bjornborg, and be potentially dangerous due to having so few hands on the bars so often. So one is left with a conundrum: who to wave at and how much to wave. How do you approach this thorny issue, and where do you draw the line on who to wave to and who to ride past with stony face indifference like Mitch Docker?
Oh.
Sam from Studham, UK. P.S. I would definitely always wave to Abby. So, Sam, thanks for the email.
Yep.
Spencer.
Yes.
How do you make the choice of who to wave to and to avoid the stony face indifference like Mitch Docker?
Yeah. So this is a question that we get often on this show. And I think we've addressed it sort of half-heartedly in the past. I think my general rule of thumb is, obviously if you're on the bike path or something like bike specific.
Well, Derek Lewis, friend of the podcast, would send us videos of him riding along the west side bike path in Manhattan.
Right.
And he's like, I can't wait. Literally.
There's 100,000 cyclists there. Like, obviously you are not expected to do that. I think when you're commuting through the city, there's no real reason to wave at every cyclist unless you're on a particularly crappy road that somebody's going through the same thing you're going through, and you're just kind of a little salute to them is nice. But
yeah, you don't want to be the creepy one that's waving at everyone commuting to work.
Right, hey. Right. I think in my my view, we're talking about when you're out on the road, when you're on a ride. And you're not on the main commuter line for cyclists. When you're out and about and there's another spandex wearing guy who's just trying to get it done, or a group that's passing on the other side of the road, you should always wave at those people because they that's how we build up our tribe and our community. And even if you don't know them, like, you're just putting that goodwill out into the world.
Okay, couple things here. I agree. I would say that an acknowledgement as much as you can. Now, the Chitlin Hills north of London, I've heard about this place. It's like where everyone in London goes and rides. So it might not be a bike path density of riders.
But it's the main loop, you're saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of people riding bikes.
So then you're getting the nod or the two finger raise off the bars, just the acknowledgement.
I think the acknowledgement is key, but then also you can do it by group. So, and what I mean by that is normally you'll see some kind of, like down here, there's the loop here in Orlando around the airport, and there's a lot of people riding that. If there's a bunch of groups along the road that are kind of together, then you just kind of acknowledge, the front or the middle person. You just say like, hey, I see you over there. I don't have the stony faced indifference that Abby talked about that Mitch had on a ride. So I would say like you kind of do the head nod, tilt, or just something that you're not in. Now, if you're in the zone doing your interval because you're trying out to be the next be on Condor, Team Condor again, there is times when you're doing an interval that maybe you just do a the two finger salute kind of like but you just do what you can.
Yeah, if you're in a contract year, we understand. But that sort of acknowledgement is important, and that's the easiest way to say that is to wave at all cyclists. But you don't have to go full hands off the bars every single time. Like we get it, but it's the principle of the thing.
Now, I do want to say when I was a bike messenger, and I rode around with a lot of stony face indifference in Minneapolis.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought I was the hot sauce. That was back when I had that nice Fossa Bordello hat, totally just flipped build. And if you didn't know who Fossa Bordello was, I definitely wasn't acknowledging you. And and if I was locking my bike up, and I saw you locking your bike up on the rack, first off, I thought you were a dork because you were locking your bike up to the rack, and I leaned my bike up against the building and just locked the front wheel to the frame. I was a horrible human being. As you know, Spencer, when we first met, me, you, and little guy, I was definitely, that's when the super rookie got his nickname. I thought I was the hot sauce.
Yeah.
And then people started waving at me that worked at One-on-One Bike Studio and the different bike people that rode mountain bikes. And I realized that it was a bigger thing than just trying to be like Puck from the real world. And
Season 1, wow, what a throwback.
I that was very important to me. Learn that. And that's why I started just realizing that it is bigger than just who you are. So you may not be able to wave at every cyclist, but that's the mantra of the tribe of cycling, right? We need to grow this. We need to be welcoming, because there's nothing worse than being that person that doesn't acknowledge every time. Right. And that's the key here. We make the jokes. I still don't wave at every cyclist that I see, because there's times when I need to put both my hands on the bars and it's a very pothole ridden street. There are times when, I'm trying to hold on for dear life at the back of the pack on the big group ride in town, and there's cyclists coming the other way.
Right.
And I can't do it.
So in that situation, what you want to do is you want to foster this environment where somebody in your group ride definitely acknowledged that rider, so that you don't necessarily have to,
Exactly. So we all have reasons why we didn't wave. I still I hate to admit it, but I can't wave every time I see a cyclist, but I try to do it like 90% of the time. And always, I hope someone I'm riding with is going to be the one that kind of waves.
Exactly. And so, we're trying to foster that culture. And it sounds like Sam, is on board and, is trying his best. And honestly, that's all we can ask for, Sam. Like, you're doing great.
Yeah. So we appreciate it. And, so that's our email from our UK listener.
We are going to have to work on Mitch, though.
Well, to be fair, maybe something was going on. Maybe, I'm not concerned. I think Mitch is going to be waving at every single cyclist for a long time.
We didn't inquire too much with Abby. I think we were a little shocked. It's possible that Mitch had just hopped a curb, ridden through a tree bed, hopped another curb, and was riding through the sandy gutter with one hand on the bar, calling for the team car. And that's why he didn't wave.
It very well could be. Man, what a throwback. Oh man. We talked all about that last week with the little guy.
I'm sure we did.
All right. Investment advice required. Should I buy this $14,000 Sagan bike? Email from Dan Schick. Dare slow ride. I was in my local shop this weekend looking for some trendy gravel tires when I couldn't help but notice a $14,200 Canadian specialized, so it's Canadian, so $14,000 Canadian. So what's that? $10,000 US. Ayo. Specialized tarmac SL6 S-Works disc Sagan edition bicycle they had on display.
Yeah.
At first, I felt embarrassment at how the industry must be laughing at me, the consumer, for offering this as a fair deal. But then I wondered if it could be me that gets last laugh. Question. Do you think I should pursue this $14,000 cycling purchase as a sound financial investment? At this price, I'm sure there aren't many sold. Sagan is sure to rack up at least a few more world championships, solidifying his legacy, and e-bikes are sure to take over the cycling world in the next few years, making elite pedal bikes a potentially valuable rarity.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have the same thoughts when I saw a $2,000 Klein Androids for sale back in the 90s, and I don't want to miss out a second time. I'm sure those sell for tens of thousands of dollars now. I'm rolling my coins as you read this, but wait for your guidance to be sure. 5 stars, of course. Now, Dan, thank you so much for this email. This is fantastic. Dan from North Vancouver, British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack here.
There's a lot to unpack. So first we have the $14,000 specialized tarmac.
Are you familiar with this bike?
I am not. So I'm going to Google it right now while you're talking about it. So tell me about
L6 Peter Sagan. Oh, I'm not familiar with it either. That is a little bit out of my price bracket generally. So not something I particularly I guess the first question he asks is, should I pursue this $14,000 cycling purchase?
Okay. So let's get the common language here. On
financial
Specialized website, it is $11,750 US or 14,000 Canadian. Okay. So this is the Peter Sagan Collection Limited Edition Tarmac. So basically what Specialized is going here is you can buy a piece of history, a limited edition Peter Sagan. So
amazing.
Spencer, I have a moot, so I'm in the titanium age group here. This is carbon. So this
Yes.
is also, I feel like we're speaking French to one another here. That's a lot of money for a bike. However, I do think he makes a good point that it is a Sagan limited edition. Now, looking at the bike, I'm a little disappointed it's not wild and crazy. Like it's kind of the refined Peter Sagan.
Yeah,
It's got
the 2019 Peter Sagan is clean shaven though, so you know
they claim it's a dark teal fade to charcoal is the color of the triangle. It is not as good as what we have seen in the past of like the old Kleins coming back, because I feel the reason the Kleins work as referenced is because of the paint job. Everyone wants the paint job, and at the time everyone thought it was the coolest looking bike, so that's why they wanted it, but they didn't buy it. And now they're getting older, they have mortgages, and they're like, you know what, I can spend some money. Now, I don't think a $2,000 Klein has retained its value. I still think they're below we haven't checked the Klein pricing, but I still think they were down a little bit on that.
Well, yeah, but if you troll around the eBay for the Kleins, they've maintained their value shockingly well. And
will this Specialized retain any value close to $12,000? That's the question here.
now much like your local car dealership, the minute you roll that bike out the door, it's instantly worth 60% of what you've paid for it. So, no, the answer is no. Peter Sagan is a superstar and a bona fide star of the future. He's potentially will be revered like the next Eddie Merckx, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a classic crimp tube Colnago master
I don't think it can be.
level sought after type of bike.
So I went on the Specialized dealer locator.
Mhm.
And I have tried almost every size within 200 miles of Orlando, and everyone's out of stock. So all the shops are out of stock, which then tells me maybe the ship has already sailed. Maybe, Dan, we got to your email a little bit too late, and
Yeah.
We got to look for the next big thing. But I mean, we know our sound financial advice here. I just think that's a lot of money for carbon.
Now,
right?
Here's the thing. It's Canadian. So can he buy this in Vancouver, drive across the border, and resell it and make some money?
Yeah, like play the exchange rate. Because here's the thing. If you multiply out the exchange rate at $14,000, there's a lot of wiggle room there. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
if on the right day,
if he puts this thing on Seattle Craigslist, Bellingham Craigslist with the right wording on the ad, rare, Peter Sagan edition, never ridden, never crashed, low miles, great for a collegiate racer.
Refined Peter Sagan, like a fine wine.
Right.
That's what this is.
Right. And he needs some sort of pun in there. Something about hit the tarmac at full gas this spring, strong disc brakes, great stopping power, things like that. Just fill up the ad with all that kind of jargon. I think he can move this for 14, 15K.
Yeah, in America too. And that's, oh man, this is a great email.
He'd be a Vancouver millionaire.
But Spencer, here's the thing. $14,000, $11,000 for a carbon bike.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's got disc brakes and it's like the nicest, fanciest things, but I mean, this is not going off on Specialized as a whole, because there's lots of companies that have these bikes for this much money. But the carbon to me is everyone talks about a lifetime bike.
Yeah.
I don't think those exist. Right? Like every carbon, I like to think they are. And if I spent this much money on my bike, I would have to make it my lifetime bike, because I would not be alive if I bought one.
I think that's a titanium biased opinion coming out right there. I think your true colors are shining through. Your carbon biased is not welcome around here, sir. And, I'll just put out there that the Time VXR that I ride, upgraded with modern components. The frame is from 2006, and it is carbon, and it is fine.
But it's not disc brakes.
It's not disc brakes, which is going to, probably be a problem on the resale market in a few years.
Now, he does bring up also, and we'll end with this, the e-bike solution, right?
Yeah.
Can you make this an e-bike compatible bike? And,
add
a motor to it?
That is not what he's saying at all. Absolutely not what he's saying. He's saying e-bikes are going to take over the world and people are going to forget about these crazy contraptions that you had to pedal with your actual legs.
And then therefore it should be in MoMA, where it's going to become worth so much more money.
Exactly. Like this is going to be the 1968 Chevy SS of the bicycle world when everyone has moved on and all their cars have, auto park and their Tesla drives itself and stays in the lane. We've forgotten the pure essence and the beauty of ripping on a $14,000 carbon bicycle down a hill or over some cobbles.
Yeah. All right.
This is Abby Mickey from Rally UHC Professional Cycling Team, and you're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast.
Welcome to the Preem Lap. I'm just going to cut in here and do a few quick ads for you on this Mailbag episode. First off, you know them, you love them. Let's talk about Grimpeur Bros Coffee, because they are a huge supporter of the Wide Angle Podium Network and a huge supporter of cycling in general. If you want to directly support the shows on Wide Angle Podium, the easiest way you can do that is by heading over to GrimpEurBrothers.com and picking up some full Schleck coffee beans or some Cyclocross Friends espresso beans. You can do that at GrimpEurBrothers.com. You can do that at wideanglepodium.com/coffee. And yeah, like I said, it's the best way to directly support what we're doing here, because a big portion of the cost of those beans comes straight to the Wide Angle Podium, and we put that to work for you producing this content. Full Schleck blend is a light roast. It is delicious. It's kind of got some flowery notes to it. It's a very refreshing, good early morning coffee. And Cyclocross Friends espresso, much darker roast. Don't need an espresso machine to make this stuff. You can put it in your regular old coffee maker, and it is a darker roast. It is full-bodied. It is one of my favorites. That's the one I've been working on lately, and very, very tasty. Pick me up. If you are a coffee fan, you're going to love it. If you're not a coffee fan, this might make you one. All right. Moving on from them, we got to talk about Health IQ. Health IQ is a long time and a major sponsor of the Wide Angle Podium Network. We love having them part of the Preem Lap here on the Slow Ride. This podcast is definitely supported by Health IQ. They're a life insurance company that celebrates the health conscious. So if you are out there putting in the work, putting on the miles, you can save money via healthiq.com/WAP. So what they do is they know that you're less of a liability, less of a risk for them, because you are riding your bike, you're staying healthy, you're taking care of yourself. And if you can show them that, you can whittle away at the cost of your life insurance. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy, but you can learn more, get a free quote, and check out their FAQ page, all that kind of stuff. Get any questions you have answered at healthiq.com/WAP. It's super easy. You can take a quiz, a cycling-based quiz, try and score elite on that, and you're saving money right there. You can show them you're riding 50 miles a week, and you're saving more money right there. They have a lot of stuff going for you. I am not going to go through every single thing because there's really a lot of ways for you to save with Health IQ. So my advice is to head to healthiq.com/WAP and just learn a little bit more about what they got going on over there. It's a big help for us if you do so, because we really rely on their support. It's been awesome. The other support we rely on are from our WAP members. Wide Angle Podium is a network of shows. We are all kind of supporting each other, and we are all supported by you, the listener. So if you are a donor to WAP, thank you. And if you are not, that's okay. We understand not everybody can be. But Wide Angle Podium, we've brought together kind of what we see are as the best independent cycling podcasts out there. So if you enjoy this show, I guarantee you're going to enjoy something else on the network if you haven't checked it out already. Gravel Lot, they are the newest addition to the network. If you have not checked out this show, you should do so. Great interview style show with different folks from different aspects of cycling every week. Really, really interesting stuff all the time. Consummate athlete, kind of more from the coaching, learning aspect of things. Always getting some great training insights over on that show. Bike Shop CX, learn how to do your repairs, learn the ins and outs of what's going on mechanically on your bike. Such a fun show to listen to. Cyclocross Radio, Bill was just out at Sea Otter, so he is he is going to have some mountain bike coverage coming, I'm sure. And all this stuff is supported by folks like you on the Wide Angle Podium Network. So we really appreciate that. Check it out. Download the app, Wide Angle Podium. You can search it on your app store and you will find it. All these things help. And, most importantly, tell a friend. Somebody not listening to the Slow Ride, give them a nudge. Maybe send them the link. It would really help us out, and we appreciate it. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna let you get back to our mailbag episode. We will have some full Paris-Roubaix coverage in episode 247. I am sure. This week was kind of a crazy one for us. I was out of town, and Tim as well was out of town at Sea Otter, so things were not going to align well for recording. So we did this mailbag earlier in the week when we had some time. So bear with us, and we'll be back to a regular show next week. All right, guys, I will sign off and let you get back to the mailbag. Thank you for listening.
I'm Joe Dombrowski from Cannondale Drop Pack, and you are listening to the Slow Ride Podcast.
So let's get to another email. While you're digging one up there, I want to just give a quick shout out to friend of the pod, longtime listener, Sean Burns.
Okay.
Who was one of the great people to welcome me into the Minneapolis cycling community when I needed it most. He sent us an email. From May 17th, 2007, a picture from 2007, going through some old photos and found this one. Enjoy. Spencer, do you want to describe what it is that you're seeing here?
Oh, I'm seeing the Super Smug mug in the first cycling kit that I designed. And you're at the velodrome. You're ready to race.
I am on the rail.
Yep.
I've got my Mazzi Cotello track frame with my sweet Johnny Cycle stem. I have quite the stack height going on. You got a lot
of stack height. I don't remember that being like that, but the photo doesn't lie too.
I am impressed by the amount of stack height that is on there. Now, I also noticed that I'm wearing some Kona
mountain bike gloves, yeah.
Mountain bike gloves, but if you notice, they've got carbon knuckle protectors.
Yeah.
For hitting the trees or hitting the wood boards when I'm gonna come sliding down.
Yeah, you were clearly ready for a battle here on the Cat 4 field in the velodrome.
Now, Spencer, I am also wearing, and we're going to put this on our Twitter feed and Instagram feed so everyone can see what we're talking about. But Spencer designed a kit one year that had a gray inner short.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Very unfortunately. Now, originally, the kit design that I bought, the inner panel was black. You made an executive decision to turn it to gray. I am happy that you are finally admitting that it was an unfortunate choice, because the rest of the kit looks great. The stars, everything's fine. But that red saddle I had really left marks on that gray inner chamois.
Yeah, well, not too many people have the red saddle situation. So, I thought the sample size, the population at large would not have an issue. But unfortunately for you, it was unpleasant. It was an unpleasant sight, being on your wheel.
The laser helmet, totally not fitting. There's a good 5 inches gap between my top of my glasses and the helmet.
Yeah.
And the long sleeve skin suit.
In the dead of summer.
In the dead of summer. And pasty white legs.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great time. Sean, thank you so much. Again, we'll put that over on the Instagram so you can feel free to critique at the Slow Ride Pod. We'll also have it on our Twitter account at the Slow Ride Pod. And then inside our Facebook group, where we have a great group of folks participating. But Spencer, what's the email you got?
So we got an email here from Dave from California, and he said it's official. The Slow Ride Podcast is now the best cycling podcast on the earwaves. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah,
I mean,
nice.
I agree.
I like it.
I agree. Dave says, I came to this realization when I was forced to choose between listening to the Velo News podcast or the Slow Ride podcast. I did not have time to listen to both.
Don't force yourself to choose. Find time.
Okay. Right? Velo News has long been the preeminent source for racing news. Velo News has always been the gold standard in its field. This is true. I never thought that I would forsake Velo News for another source. However, when I was forced to decide, I went with the Slow Ride. This is akin, and this is the this is the clutch part of this email. You ready for this, Tim?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
This is akin to forsaking the New York Times in order to read the Cape Coral Daily Breeze.
That is amazing because it's true, right?
Yeah.
We're not journalists.
No.
So thank you, but
I'm gonna have to look up the Cape Coral Daily Breeze because I feel like I should subscribe at this point. Dave continues, I guess I would rather get my racing news and insights from Little Guy and his friends. Keep up the stellar reporting, Slow Ride. So thank you, Dave. That's a great email.
All right. I am in the Cape Coral dailybreeze.com.
Okay.
Right?
What do we got? What's the above the fold headline?
The above the fold right now is Yellow Fever Creek Preserve receives enhancements. So they've got paved parking surfaces now and a berm along a 3-acre pond. That's pretty nice.
All right. Hey.
Breaking news. There's a lot of obituaries in the Cape Coral South. That's above the fold. The obituaries may be where they're getting it. But let's get to the poll. Should texting while driving be a primary offense that police can pull you over on?
Okay.
A, yes. B, no, keep it secondary offense that you can only get ticket if they stop you for something else. Or no, I don't think it should be an offense at all.
Sure.
So
obviously A.
Let's see what the listeners of the Cape Coral. Shockingly, 93% of people taking that poll agree with us.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
Maybe we are the Cape Coral Daily Breeze. All right.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in here. The golf course negotiations have been placed on hold. This is very important. So yeah, the city of Cape Coral and owners of the old golf course acreage are in a holding pattern concerning the possible city purchase of the property.
Nice.
Very in-depth reporting that you can only get at the Cape Coral Daily Breeze or the Slow Ride podcast. I appreciate the kind words. Make sure you find plenty of time to listen to all your favorite podcasts, but it's very nice to hear from you, Dave, from California.
Yeah.
Great. All right. I've got another one here for you, Spencer.
Okay.
This one has to do with a category conflict from Colby Larch. Great name. Colby writes into us from Canada. Hey guys, love the pod. Listen every week. I enjoy getting to banter with some good friends about your banter. Just want to chime in on the category conflict. My wife got me into trail running, and when I started to enter some races, I found the ones I did nailed two things missing in bike racing.
Okay.
The races I did had two categories, men and women. I hate seeing races with so many categories that the awards take an hour and people have their arms in the air on the podium for third of 5 people. So this goes back to the whole conversation we had about like, where do you race, sandbagging, kind of everything.
Yeah.
And trail running, Colby is telling us, just do a men's and women's field.
Like, keep it simple.
Let it sort it out. Keep it simple, stupid, right? KISS. Don't give away, and second, don't give away stupid crap prizes. Give people booze and quality food. That is all. Your entry fee should go to not getting you a bunch of crap. It's a fee for doing a quality event. Totally agree.
Yeah. That is a thing that cycling does particularly well. We have refined stupid crap prizes at races to a T. I think, it's going to be tough to pry that from promoters' cold dead hands.
Yeah. And I, of course, emailed back, right? Like, thanks for emailing this very interesting idea on how to make races better. The men's and women's like entry fees, like just have 2 categories. And and what you should get for your race entry, the beer, food. Simple. But the question I had was, is trail running cool? Right? Like should we stop podcasting and cycling to become trail runners?
It's always an option. Yeah.
And then he writes right back, just an FYI, trail running is a very bad idea. It hurts way more than hitting a pedestrian in a team time trial, or I would assume. This is right after the Torino Adriatico debacle.
Yeah.
And remember we were talking about my smugness as a courier.
Mm-hmm.
I have an experience of hitting a pedestrian.
You sure? God, I forgot about that. You sure do.
Yeah, I was going down the wrong way one way, so I went up on the sidewalk, and this was dumb, Tim. I admit my mistakes. I was a horrible human being, and I rounded this corner way too fast and hit a gentleman that was walking out of a building and knocked him over. And it was the most humbling experience that ever happened. I fell. He fell. He had some choice words for me. He was older.
Rightfully so.
But we shook hands and we made up for it. And he was a great guy. And I never again rode on a sidewalk in such a manner ever. Like I dismounted on every sidewalk I ever was. And it was something that, oh man.
Yeah.
I'm so happy he was okay.
Yeah. 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 Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. So it hurts your psyche more than anything because you realize how horrible of a human being you are riding your bike on the sidewalk in a busy business district.
It seems like a worse idea than trail running, to be honest. As bad as that is, but good to know. So I'm going to just, my bucket list of things to do here that I keep on the wall above my desk. I'm just going to cross trail running right off of that. Just going to strike that from the menu of things to do. So thanks for that, Colby. You're saving me a lot of hardship.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So Spencer, let's get to the next one here. We do have a couple more to go through. The first one was on a Craigslist find. Hey guys, found the podcast over the winter and I'm loving it. This comes from Chris Boucher in New Hampshire. I'm 35 years old, never actually raced, and I'm just getting back into cycling after a long time away.
Nice.
I don't have
Congratulations.
I don't have any friends who like international road cycling, so it's fun to hear other people talk race prediction, kit reviews, and swap finds. It feels like hanging out at a bike shop. Thank you. That's what we're trying to go for.
Yeah.
Against your recommendation, I started listening to old episodes, and I have one major complaint.
Oh, Chris.
In episode 179, Cycling Movie Draft Corner, The fact that the bicycle scene from the Great Muppet Caper didn't even get a mention is a travesty. It is classic. Despite this serious oversight, I'll continue to listen. Thanks for the show and keep up the good work. Chris, New Hampshire. So, and then there's a great Craigslist find that he has for a little guy. That's a Klein. It's a Klein Pro road bike.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. 50 centimeter frame. And he says you could get seriously slammed position on that.
You could. There is about a super rookie track bike level of spacers here on the steer tube, and so there's a lot of room to drop this, make it a perfect crit bike. It is shockingly still available in New Hampshire here, $500.
It's got that sweet pearl white paint job.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: it's a little internal cable routing.
Yeah,
but that stem, Spencer, the way that it's got all stacked, and then he's got the stem, like the adjustable stem up at 80 degrees. That kind of actually makes it like those Specialized Venges that had the crazy raised stem.
Mm-hmm.
So
anyway, this bike is too small for little guy, unfortunately, but somebody should pick this Klein up.
Now, the Great Muppet Caper scene is fantastic.
Yes. Oh, I know the scene.
This definitely should have been on honorable mention and mentioned. I have another one that I was on the plane the other day.
Okay.
And there is a new Mary Poppins movie.
Okay. I'm unfamiliar. I'm completely
there's
unfamiliar.
a new Mary Poppins movie that came out last summer. It's called Mary Poppins Returns, I believe. Yeah, Mary Poppins Returns. Didn't go super well. It was okay. It wasn't the best.
It wasn't a box office hit.
It made $350 million. But, I got to say, the only reason I saw it because I was sitting on the plane and the person sitting across from me, they were coming back to Orlando. So naturally they're watching Disney movies on the plane.
Sure. Yeah.
They were watching this movie. There is a bike scene there when I'm sure it's all the chimney sweeps riding their bikes through London, following Mary Poppins. And it is like a London critical mass.
Yeah.
It is amazing. Now, congestion pricing really worked because there's no cars on the road.
I was just going to say, did they film that, recently? Like how much special effects did they actually have to do for that? Because, if I'm to believe London Twitter, that's like how it is these days.
Yeah.
Terrible for car drivers. You can't get anywhere.
Yeah, you can't get anywhere. And then, everyone needs to wear more high vis. That's the other disappointing thing. All the chimney sweeps not wearing high vis.
All black.
In the scene.
Yeah.
But it was a very, very good scene. So thanks to Chris for the great email.
Tim, and I just got to say, that is the best way to watch movies, I think, is over across the aisle and down a row or two on the airplane. I don't know what it is about it, but it is the most satisfying way to view a film.
Now we got 2 emails here. One from Eric Hendrickson, and then the other from Brandon Masterman. Both talking about how to watch cycling. So I remember I talked about how I'm finally an adult and have a mortgage, so I could afford the Flow bikes and the NBC Sports. So now I can watch any bike race anywhere, anytime. They had a couple of other good ideas that, if you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, another way that you can do it, Brandon Masterman kind of walks us through the non-dark web way to get a VPN. So basically you subscribe to a VPN service, which allows you to kind of tunnel to, basically watch the internet.
And then subscribe to a Eurosport account after that. So you can get the official non-dark web feed via sort of the dark web.
So basically you're getting a VPN, which is quasi-legal, right?
Yep.
So it's legal.
It's a good way to do it. You can save a few bucks off that Flow bikes. It's a little more hassle for sure, but if you are budget minded, it is a good way to go.
So he mentions you get the VPN service he subscribes to is private internet access, charges like $35 an annual subscription, and then it avoids there's some free VPNs that are also a little shady, and then he puts you into the Eurosport $7 a month. You just said it. That's a good way to do it. And then the other ways, if you are doing the dark webs, there is the Steep Hill TV. There is the Cycling Fans is a good one.
Yeah.
And then there's cycling.today there's a lot of different ways out there. So thanks to Eric and Brandon with those ideas for those that are still looking for a little bit more affordable. I totally understand. I was a dark webs subscriber for the longest time.
Yeah, for our collegiate racing crowd that does not have money to burn, still I think it's a little hit or miss, but one of the best ways to find virus-free feeds is to search the YouTube Live or the Twitch streams on the day of the race and see what good Samaritan out there who pays for their flow bikes has then streamed it online for the rest of us.
Yeah. It's got a nice email saying thanks from Michael Stark. Good morning. I'm late to the Slow Ride podcast party. I'm on episode 18 of 242. 2 weeks ago, I stumbled upon your podcast on Spotify and hooked ever since. The banter is fun. The occasional nuggets of advice, wisdom are useful, and the overall tone of the show is perfect. Thank you so much, Michael. I hope by the time you get to this episode, you're still listening. But I did write back. I said, thanks for the great email. What kind of bike do you ride? Right? Because we need some conversation fodder for the next podcast. Wow. Did he come through?
Oh,
First off, he hooks us up with the sweet Navara Safari touring bike that he's got. I love this bike for many reasons. One, it's flat bar road bike.
Yep.
And it's got the full fenders.
The full fenders are key.
And the handlebar bag.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a touring bike. You're going to have that. For me, a set of full fenders, as these are full coverage full fenders, like front fender all the way to the ground, basically. This shows the level of respect that this person has for their fellow cyclists out on the road. This is a A+.
And I will say that the Novara brand never got the credit that it kind of, for a house brand at REI, they made some pretty solid bikes. This bike, the way that Mike has it set up, I think is fantastic. But here's the gem. Michael sends in a picture of his 1970s Sears tote cycle. Just loosen the two wing nuts and it separates for easy traveling. I think the tote cycle weighs as much as the Novara. Spencer, I have never seen this bike before.
I am unfamiliar with the tote cycle.
This thing is a gem. It's got so it's 20-inch wheels.
Yep.
It's a single speed. So basically what you have is it's almost like a mixed frame.
Yeah.
And
that folds in half.
And there's only a front brake, so I'm assuming there's a coaster brake on here that I don't think it folds. I think it comes apart. If you zoom in, like we're going to share this one on the podcast as well. So you take out that wing nut. I think that they just come apart.
Now, the interesting thing, the front and rear racks built in are great, but I'm just noticing this now. I think perhaps this isn't Michael's first tote cycle. And the reason I say that is because the front half and the bike half look to be two distinctly different colors, which leads to believe that there could be some serious customization going on. Back in the 70s, you could just trade front or rear ends with your friends who had tote cycles and just kind of get a whole, custom vibe going on, get a color match situation.
Good point. Like he may have multiple Sears tote cycles, but anyway.
What a cool bike. What a cool bike. Yeah.
All right. Final email from Carl Grezerik. Hey guys, I'm a recent convert to your rambling body of work and have shimmied my way so far to episode 231. Wow. This is a long time ago, so he's getting there.
Are people starting from the beginning? You don't have to do that, guys.
Yeah, please don't. I love your insightful dissection of the Team Sky sponsor situation. That hasn't aged well. Keep doing the good work and keeping my post-ride sauna sessions more bearable. Just don't expect me to let you choose my lotto number.
That's fair. That's fair.
Respect from a Brit in Qatar, Grelly. So, thanks for the email.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really talked enough about the Team Sky situation, but it is a little awkward that they had their big campaign about like the plastics in the ocean, which I think is a very important thing to talk about.
Yeah.
And about the trash that we are seeing polluting our waters. Sky picked a really cool message, and I think every team needs to have these kinds of message to raise the
Profile,
visibility, profile,
Yeah.
and the Orca kits, everything. But Spencer,
Yeah.
the new sponsor, not
Well-
the biggest. They're plastics manufacturer. Kind of goes against the.
A little bit against the grain here. I'll be curious to see how this plays out for them. They've made this announcement. We've seen the logos. Like, we know that it's coming for the tour. I don't know that Sky is totally out of the weeds yet. I am not willing to say that professional cycling won't completely professional cycling this situation up still. Like,
Wow.
it's the potential is there for this whole thing to blow up in their face, despite the current outlook.
All right.
So I am willing to backpedal on that and say, my prediction, I can't believe it. They've pulled it off, but we're not quite out of the weeds yet. I'm not there yet, but
That
it's
you don't
possible.
think it's been signed on the dotted line?
Oh, it may have been. I don't think cycling contracts, obviously, in this industry, they don't mean anything. They're just sort of a promise ring, when you're in grade school. You're not going to follow up on that.
Well, Grelly, thank you so much for the great email. We appreciate it. And we'd like to thank everyone that has reached out to us at the Slow Ride Podcast at gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram, Slow Ride Pod, at the Slow Ride Pod, sorry. We'd also like to thank Health IQ and Grimpeur Brothers for their continued support. Head on over to healthiq.com/WAP or go to wideanglepodium.com/coffee to find out more about both services that you can get. And with that, this is Tim in Orlando.
And this is Spencer in Boston, reminding you to always wave at all your fellow cyclists that you see out on the road.
To the best of your ability.
To the best of your ability. Acknowledge all the cyclists. Wave, salute. Now, let's just stick with wave at all your fellow cyclists that you see out on the road.
Yeah.
The Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at The Slow Ride Pod.